Santiago, Dominican Republic 3 years ago. We were in the square of the city, in the main central part of it, and suddenly there was just this chaos right in the middle of thousands of people. And a bunch of our teenagers had come from our church, Victory Christian Center here in Tulsa, and they were out there praying for people. We had sang, we had preached, and we were just praying now, and bam, this eruption happened. I couldn't tell what was going on, and suddenly there was like this giant circle. It started real little, but it began to get bigger, and there's this girl. I couldn't tell who it was or what it was down there first, just knew it was a person, but she was so completely out of control, that crowd just backed away from her. And there's this huge circle, and our kids were going backwards too. They had never seen demon possession manifested. And we learned later this woman's mother had got her to come there. And, it had been a horrible thing. She'd had just total out-of-control situation in her home. But as a last-ditch effort, she came to that meeting in the middle of town. And as the girl was there, knocking, striking at people, and she had terrific strength, which, understanding demonic power, you realize that was coupled with the spirit in her. But our teenagers, finally, they got over their fear and came in and began to pray. And pow, it just happened. That thing left her. Well, they brought her up on stage after she'd calmed down. And of course, during all that scenario, we just kept on. We kept on praying and kept on testifying, because that's not an uncommon occurrence. It happened in the last one we were in there just a few weeks ago, and in Haiti and other places. So they brought her up, and she looked almost lifeless. She was very calm, but there was just this lifelessness on her face as she stood there, and she just stared out. And we asked her, of course in Spanish in translation, and she didn't say that much, but it was obvious she wasn't where she was before. So we went on. It was either the next night or a couple of nights later, we were having testimonies. And there were two girls standing on the stage, a little short girl and a much taller, older one. And the short girl, she was just this beautiful, radiant, glorious smile, sweetness all over her face. I didn't even recognize it was the same girl that had gotten delivered. And she was standing there, and she walked up with this older 22-year-old girl that had been deaf in her ear. And the little demon-possessed girl, when we said, pray for the person next to you, of course, she had been delivered a couple of nights before, she turned around, laid her hands right on that girl's ear, and that ear popped open. And it was, to me, it was one of the funniest things, thinking about how many people are trying for years to get the boldness and the authority and the power to pray for someone, then they don't realize the power's in the name of Jesus. And that little girl who had just gotten delivered, God used her, and we've got the pictures. We have them in the wall.